Hey guys, Derek with Dependable Success, Motivation, Inspiration, back for another video. We are here every week, week in, week out, to try and give you guys the best strategy to navigate these crazy, difficult times. Not crazy, difficult, but crazy and difficult as everything changes so constantly. But there are some things that don't change, and I really think as economies start to shrink, and as people go into scarcity mindset, all the principles that we talk about here become more and more important. And what could be better than talking about risk? Today, we're going to talk about why you got to take risk, how to take risk to get the best outcome for you and your family and your community, and really just kind of where to start and what happens if you don't. So let me just start by saying this. Taking risk is the new way to avoid risk. Let me say that again. Taking risk is the new way to avoid risk, because sitting still while everything around you changes, contracts, people go into scarcity, it leaves you basically as a sitting duck. And by doing that, you're actually making a choice to put yourself at risk, and you have no control over the outcome. The name of the game in life and in business is it's a series of calculated risks. Nobody has built generational wealth in one transaction. It's a series of transactions. So ebbs and flows, right? Just like cash flow in a business, it ebbs and flows. And you need to ebb and flow your way around different markets and different economies. I'll give you the prime example. So as a market around you starts to contract, right? A lot of people, almost all businesses, they go into defense. They go into scarcity mindset. If we could just hang on to what we did last year, because they become risk adverse. They don't want to take any risk because they're just hoping things stay the same. We can ride out the storm. And just to back it up a little bit, on a side note, you're conditioned like that, except for a very few, but the majority of people, if your upbringing was anything like me, you're conditioned to play it safe, right? Your parents tell you, be careful, play it safe. And, it's all almost like fear-based, right? Got to go to college. It's all fear-based. It's if you don't do this, then you're not going to get the outcome you want. And in reality, it's all a series of wealth, risk, reward, not, right? It's a risk-reward balance of, okay, if I do this, will I get this outcome? So back to my example, if you're just sitting there while everything else is acting around you, you're no longer in control at that point. You're just a sitting duck and you have no control. And really, without sounding like a control freak, the name of the game is control. You want to be able to influence your outcome. Prime example, so we have a company, obviously, and we watch the market, it's starting to contract, it's shrinking around us, so we can do nothing and keep everything the same and say, hey, let's build up some cash reserves. You'll hear that a lot. Let's build up, because it's all about safety. But what happens if sales decline, right? You want to have, you end up putting yourself at risk, putting your business at risk, because you aren't prepared to do anything. Everything is acting against you. You don't want that, right? You need to take the best risk that you can to avoid being at risk, right? You do not want to just be there at the mercy of everything around you. Another example is you are sitting there and you're in an economy or you're in a marketplace, and not only are you trying to hang on to last year's numbers, but you are trying to build up some liquidity so that you have money to cash flow the business in the event sales drop. Well, guess what, guys? That's not good. A business shouldn't need your money to survive. It should be taking in money. And you have to go through the ebbs and flows to make that happen. And that's called pivoting, right? So you don't want to do nothing, because inadvertently you're really just putting yourself at risk. Prime example in our business is we decided to stay on offense, start new lines of businesses, different services we can offer, and geographically expand so that we are not at risk of the economy, meaning we're going to get a little bit more from a bigger pie, right? And it really comes down to, what is your outcome? We talk a lot about outcomes on this channel, and it's so important when you're talking about risk, because everything we do that we've been conditioned that's fear motivated, it has to do with outcomes. If you really stop and think and you keep your mind focused on the desired outcome, you'll know the right moves to get there. Warren Buffett says it best, be fearful when people are greedy and be greedy when people are fearful. And that's a calculated risk. Remember, nobody's perfect, right? In life, in business, you just have to be right more than you're wrong. That's it. I mean, you don't have to worry about it, but you have to take risks. Another reason risk is important is you have to make a play that's big enough. Most people never ever make a play that is big enough. So you might think Amazon, when it was an up and coming company, you're like, wow, I believe in this company. I understand their mission. This is the future. And you put a little bit, you buy a little stock and it doubles, but you only bought $1,000 worth of stock. Okay, great. Now you have $2,000. But you had another 90 and you left it in the bank, because don't risk it all. You never make a play big enough. And if you look at all the big players in our society, the flavor of the week, right? Elon Musk, they're taking serious risk. I mean, Elon Musk took all his money from PayPal and put it all into Tesla and SpaceX, to the point he had no more money left. And then you fast forward and now he's the world's richest man. He didn't take a risk like at a blackjack table where he's just hoping he gets the right card. He's in control, right? The foundations for taking a good calculated risk are: what is the outcome that you want? Does it align with your morals and your values? How do you control it, right? So for us, if it's in our company, we control it because we are going to get out and go into the marketplace, right? If people are calling us, great, we'll come to them. If nobody's calling, good, we'll still go to them. We'll knock on doors, we'll do whatever it takes to get that outcome, right? If you keep those in mind, it shows you that yes, there's always risk, but you want to have some way to control the outcome, and not making a decision is the worst. You're better off making a decision and being wrong. Chalk it up to experience. It's called an expensive lesson, but you know what? Those are the best ways. If you ask any entrepreneur, you learn from those experiences and then you do not repeat them, and you can get better and grow as an individual, as a leader, and as a business person. I cannot stress the importance enough of facing your fears. And you can go back and watch, we talked about fear and actually taking a risk. I get it, an average upbringing, I was brought up relatively normal. It's just a natural conditioning passed down from generation to generation, from when the time you're a little baby and you're walking down the street. Be careful, don't trip. You get developed to be, just play it safe, right? Big fast food companies know this all too well. Movie theaters know this all too well. There's a story with the small, medium, and large when it comes to selling drinks. Make a long story short, back in the day, there was 2 sizes. They figured out if they really, really want to sell the large, they will rename it to the medium, add a large. So now there's 3 choices, and they know most people will play it safe and go right in the middle. And that's a really old marketing technique, but it just shows you that they're well aware of the psychology. You have to face your fears. You have to take risks. I'm telling you, in today's economic conditions, the way to avoid risk is to take risk. Make sure you can control the outcome. Make sure you're committed and really are going to do whatever it takes to get the results that you want. Because if not, you do not want to be at the mercy of things that are out of your control. Not only does it adversely affect your outcome, it affects your mind. Because then you're like, wow, it's the economy. I can't get ahead. It's the president. You start to make excuses, and it just spirals downhill. I'm telling you, in my experience and in my life, whenever you're faced with difficult times in business specifically or in life, you really got to follow your dream, to stick with your principle and your purpose, look for that outcome, and then take a risk. Put yourself out there, right? It's the same of reaching, hey, I want a promotion. Being that we talked about, standing out, being the best person in the room. If somebody is working 8 hours a day, you're going to work 10. If somebody is practicing baseball 10 hours a day, you're going to practice 15 hours a day. Really, if you're willing to go above and beyond, you should have no problem taking risks because you're going to do whatever it takes to get the desired outcome. I know it got a little bit twisted, but I'll recap it for you. Nice and simple. Taking risk is the new way to avoid risk. Plain and simple. Make sure that you do not put yourself at the mercy of today's marketplace and today's economy. You want to be proactive, not reactive. I believe in you. You got to believe in yourself. I know you can do it. We're doing it here. Everything we talk about, we do, right? You can see our results. We're happy to help you get to your results. Subscribe to our channel. We put out a new video every Wednesday. I'm sorry, that's wrong. We put out a new video every week, not Wednesday. Every week, like clockwork. But we really want to help. We want to be part of your journey. Don't be afraid. Go out there, get it, make something of yourself. We'll see you next week. Have a great day.